Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off the 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off the 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.
Wow, today is going to be awesome, Teddy. I got a good feeling. Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. Won both my presidential address plays yesterday, and he's Teddy Covers, and he knows someone who won both his presidential address plays yesterday. Dude, can you tell? I'm babbling already. I'm excited, man. Everybody, you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet, Teddy. Who we got on today? We're going
to have Tony Mejia to open up the show. He's going to talk a little NBA hoops for tonight, the Clippers and the Thunder, as well as break down Thursday night football between the Bucks and the Ravens. Adam Trigger is going to join us next. He's going to talk a little NFL football, Broncos, Jags, and Texans, Titans. Kelly in Vegas. Kelly Stewart will close out the show. She'll be talking college football, Kentucky and Tennessee, as well as a West Virginia game. My big game breakdown for today, Thursday night college football, Utah at Washington State. There's the show we have set up for you. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, man, listen, I'm excited. I won my bet last night in hockey. I went 2-1 in NBA. I had Houston, man. They went off at 8. I got them in at 7. I lost that play. But man, we got the Ravens going tonight with the Buccaneers, a full slate of NHL, a bunch of NBA. No reason to continue yapping. Tony Mejia, welcome to Wager Talk Today.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Well, as you can tell, maybe it's that I'm actually feeling better for the first time in 12 days, but I'm ready to rock, dude. I'm ready to rock. How are you? What's going on?
Doing well. I mean, lots of sports. We got soccer, Europa League. I know you love soccer, and nobody can take you away from a television when there's a game on the pitch on. But
I love soccer, Tony. I know you're trying to mock me right now.
What's that?
I think you froze. I love soccer, and I know you're being sarcastic, but I actually do love soccer.
Well, you've got Canada in the World Cup coming up, so plenty to look forward to.
I think they're going to win it all, dude. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're not going to win it all, but I'm going to have hope. Tony, we got the Clippers playing the Thunder tonight. I'm on it. One of my NBA plays is a total in this game. One of your plays is a total. What do you got?
Yeah, the under is a combined 7-1 in games involving these teams, and they faced off against one another the other night. 108-94 was the result there. And the Thunder shot 4 for 30 from three-point range. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was supposed to miss that game, ended up playing and being the best player on the floor. And the Clippers were without both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think Paul George does play tonight. He's been under the weather. Kawhi Leonard already ruled out. Same with Marcus Morris Sr. And at this point, I think the Clippers do get revenge, but I didn't like the number at 6. They're still looking disjointed, still one of the deeper teams in the league. But John Wall looking to find his place. Reggie Jackson looks like a shell of himself. He's dealing with a thigh injury, and the Thunder can't shoot. So I think we'll get a steady defensive game. There was only one quarter where there were over 50 points scored in that Clippers Thunder game the other night. So the total has not budged from where it was the other night at 217. These are 2 under teams to start the season. Go under 217. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, so all I can do is overthink stuff right now, Tony, because obviously it's both teams that have been playing pretty strongly to the under. But here's my question for you on this one. We saw the game between these two teams the other night, and both squads, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It was a bad shooting game. Particularly, you talked about the 4 for 30 for OKC from beyond the arc. It wasn't like the Clips were hitting from downtown either in that ball game. But the pace was relatively fast. It wasn't one of these games where both teams were walking the ball up the floor. There were ample possessions in that ball game. So are you worried at all that the shooting evens out tonight? And if the two teams are hitting some shots, the pace is there to send it up and over the total.
Not with this personnel. I mean, I think the Thunder are who they are, and without Josh Giddey to facilitate offense next to SGA, then it's easy to get the ball out of his hands and put the ball into a non-shooter's hands. And Mark Dagnall's rotations are off. He's playing, some guys heavy minutes, and then the next night they won't play at all because he wants everybody ready. The Clippers, with the injuries and with so much depth, they're still working out rotations. So, at this, of course, anybody can have a hot shooting night, but at this point, it's smarter to play that it's early in the season, still preseason for all these guys up until we hit November at the earliest. So you might as well, just stick with what you've seen so far, which are both dead under teams, Thunder 4-0 to the under, and the Clippers 3-1 to the low side.
Tony Mejia joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. He is one of our exclusive handicappers. And also, you do a bunch of writing for the Gold Sheet. Is that right? Where can people read your stuff?
Yeah, the Gold Sheet products are the best around, have been forever. We also have now the college basketball guide that Ralph Michaels put out there yesterday. He released it. I think we've got at least 10 conferences, probably more. I know I wrote 5 of them. Wrote the Sun Belt A10 this week with the West Coast and the American, and I want to say it was the ACC, but yeah, it was the ACC. I saw the Big East is written by Adam Trigger. Brian Power chimed in, so we've got a bunch of Wager Talk handicappers, and college basketball season right around the corner.
Tony, me, everyone, do you kick yourself that you're like writing for the Gold Sheet? I mean, I know it's got to be strange, right? I mean, we were all. We would all wait in line for a Gold Sheet 30 years ago. Now we own it and you write for it. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. I got to write the NFL preview for the Las Vegas Review-Journal last week. That was fun. Thank you to Kelly in Vegas for hooking that up for me, through time.
Tony Mejia, Tony Mejia is freezing a little bit, Teddy. There you are. You're back. Tony, let's get you froze a little, so let's get into the NFL football game tonight. Big line move, -2 now for Tampa Bay. Clearly money coming in on them. Where are you going in this game?
Well, I'm going with a player prop, but it's sounding increasingly likely that Mark Andrews misses this game. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's favorite target, so that potentially is why more attention being paid to the Bucs, and people simply can't believe that Tom Brady will lose 3 straight games. I'm going with Chris Godwin, though, over 6.5 receptions. With Cameron Brate out, now it's Otten that is the tight end target, and Tom Brady always needs a safety valve. Russell Gage is sidelined tonight, and Chris Godwin, they haven't really hooked up as well as they would like this month. On 51 targets, Chris Godwin has 26 catches, so that's barely a 50% success rate, but at least he's getting targeted that often. He's had at least 6 catches in all 4 October games. He's got a top 6.5 tonight, and I think he will.
So, Brady's low conversion rate with Godwin based on targets, that's the whole team, isn't it? This is not a passing game that's clicking right now. Do you expect Tampa to work out the kinks in that passing offense in relatively short order, or is this going to be an ongoing problem for the Bucs moving forward?
Yeah, it's an ongoing problem as long as that offensive line continues to struggle, and right now they look lost and overwhelmed. But again, the extension of the passing of the run game, which has been relatively non-existent, is the short passing game, and that's where guys like Godwin and your tight end Otten comes in, and Brady knows how to get them the ball based on looks. So I think he's more inclined to dish out a 3-yard reception that's an extension of the run than to give it to Fournette, who gets stonewalled because the offensive line can't block there either.
Tony Mejia, awesome job, man. Love having you on. Anything to promote?
Yeah, there'll be 5% plays this weekend. Hit my first NBA 5% play of the season yesterday. It was way more of a sweat than it needed to be. But we will have an NBA 5% play on Friday and then college football on Saturday. We'll see about if we warm up on Sunday as well. So get that 3-day pass because it'll definitely be worth it this weekend. And yeah, looking forward to that. And obviously all these sports going on at one time. We'll get plenty of action this weekend.
Yeah, that 3-day pass, guys, take advantage of that. That is for sure. Great point, Tony Mejia. And Teddy, we have a promo, and I'm positive you can use it for that 3-day pass. It is Boo 31. It is to celebrate Halloween. In case you guys don't know how to spell Boo, it is BOO 31. My brother, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
Oh, we got to talk a little NBA because there are 3 supposed contenders that are all looking very much like pretenders in early season play. We got to talk about the Lakers because I came on the show yesterday talking about the Lakers as bad a shooting team as you'll ever see. Number 30 in offensive efficiency, number 30 in three-point shooting, et cetera, et cetera. So last night in Denver, what did they do? They shot 44% from the floor. They shot 8 of 30 from beyond the arc. And according to the ESPN Stats and Info tweet that I saw this morning, LA is now the worst three-point shooting percentage team in NBA history through any 4-game span of the season with 125 plus attempts. So their shooting hasn't just been bad. It's been off the charts bad, and it hasn't gotten any better. The Nuggets went cold in the fourth. The Lakers had every chance to get back in that game. They couldn't hit the shots to make things interesting. Till proven otherwise, Lakers are bet against every single time. What about Philly? Deep team, stars everywhere. They shot better than 50% from the floor last night versus the Raptors' tough defense. They were draining threes, 16 of 36 from beyond the arc, and they were never in the game. They never made a run. They were down 10 the whole way. Harden's defense, you can't hide it. I worry about Philly's chemistry every bit as much as I worry about LA's chemistry. And the Nets, all offseason, everyone wanted to be traded. They came into camp and everything's supposed to be fine. Clearly, it's not fine. They got Joe Harris back, the sharpshooter, the floor spacer that they needed. Supposed to be better. Floor spacing's not be better. The only game they won all year, who hit the big shot? Yeah, it was Royce O'Neal. That net has been their star. Where's the youth and athleticism on that team? So all 3 of these squads might be decent by April. They might be championship contenders in April. Right now, all 3 of them, Philly, Brooklyn, LA, bet against until proven otherwise. That's the way we have to approach those 3 contenders at this stage of the season. Prez?
Teddy, before we bring in Adam Trigger, what do you got for the clients tonight?
I'm involved in the NFL game, and I may be involved in the NBA. We were still thinking about it before we went on air. Decide immediately after we're going to get in play or not. We'll see what the line does over the course of the next 45 minutes or so. Your voice, what do you have tonight? I'm sure you have a loaded card for your clients.
I do. Firstly, your voice has got some excellent resonance today, my brother. What do I got going tonight? Guys, must bet mode is what's going on over here. I am freaking killing it, man. 12-5 all sports run, 22-12 NFL run, 3-2 to start the NBA season, 10-4 to start the NHL season, and I'm playing them all. I got 1 NFL bet on the game. I have 2 NFL prop bets on the game, 65% lifetime in NFL props. I got 1 NHL play and 2 NBA plays, and all of them are combined together in a package at WagerTalk.com. Go freaking get it. Adam Trigger, man, liking the hair today, bro.
Prez, it's just long.
You're auditioning for an Elvis thing?
It's just really long. I had a haircut set up last weekend and blew it off and went to South Carolina to go see Clemson and Syracuse. So the haircut didn't happen.
How was it?
It was awesome. It was a great time. I'll tell you guys what, though. I think my favorite part of the trip had nothing to do with the game. At about 6 a.m. on Saturday, I'm down in the lobby of our hotel typing up my plays, getting all my stuff out because it's a noon game. And there was one other guy in there, and it was Dave Cohen, longtime voice of the Yankees, I think the Braves maybe, and we just sat and talked for about 45 minutes. So super nice guy, probably my favorite part of the trip. Syracuse alum, that's why he was there. He lives in Atlanta now.
Excellent stuff. And listen, I'm only joking. You got exceptional hair, Adam Trigger. That is for sure. Dude, you've got a teaser bet for the NFL Week 8 to discuss on the show. I'm just going to hand the mic over to you.
Yeah, so I'll break down both legs of the teaser here. And just listen, I'm not a huge teaser bettor. I used to be. I feel like it's gotten a little too mainstream for me. They're a little harder to get down. I think the books sort of expect it more than they used to. Some have it priced up to minus 120. So obviously shop around and make sure you're getting minus 110 on this play. But I'm going to take the Broncos, which is 2.5 everywhere right now, up to 8.5. And I'm going to take the Texans, which is 2.5 everywhere right now, up to 8.5. So I'll start with the Broncos. We'll do the Broncos first. Basically, I'm just willing to fade the Jaguars as a favorite. They're 0-2 this season as a favorite, 0-5 in their last 5 as a favorite. And I think to find a time they've won and covered as a favorite, you'd have to go all the way back to 2019. So they've been absolutely terrible in the favored role, while the Broncos, they really probably should be better than their record. I think 4 games this year, guys, 4 Broncos games have been settled by 3 or less. And their defense is outstanding. It's really their offense that's let them down. But I don't think that's going to be as big of an issue here. The reason being, I think they can run on the Jaguars, who really their run defense is not great. And if you do get Russell Wilson at quarterback here, which it looks like may be the case, I think it makes it even easier for the Broncos to run. But if you go back to last week, I had the Broncos 4% play. It did not get there, but they dominated the Jets on the stat sheet in that game. And I think if the Broncos are able to come with a similar effort, yes, this game's in London. Of course, that's I keep seeing all the headlines this week of these coaches, they don't come back from there, right? So Hackett's kind of on the hot seat a little bit, but he's still a first-year guy. I think he's got at least a season with this team. I think the Broncos are going to give an effort here that is good enough to keep them within a touchdown, which would cover the first leg of the teaser. Now, the second game in this teaser would be the Texans. That's the bet I like more here. And the reason I'm willing to do a teaser is because of the timing of these games, right? Like Broncos is going to be the London game at 9:30. And this game doesn't go to 4 o'clock Eastern, which means I'll know the result of the Broncos game. And I'll know if I have action on the Texans at a great number, which I really would like to happen, or I'll have at least the option to come back and maybe take the Texans if I can get a +3. Texans were +3. I missed it. A little bit of a sharp move down all the way to 1.5. It's back to 2.5, probably because of some quarterback uncertainty on the Tennessee side. But whether it's Tannehill or Willis, doesn't matter to me. I'm willing to go against a Titans team that I think has sort of peaked on their value of late. They've won 4 straight games. But I don't know if I want to call them a fraud, but I will say that they've been very fortunate in this 4-game win streak. All sorts of turnovers by the Colts in the 2 wins over the Colts. The Commanders was another play I was on the wrong side of. They were at the goal line, 1st and goal, couldn't find a way to get in and win that game. So the Titans have won 4 straight. You go back to the beginning of the winning streak, they needed to stop a 2-point conversion against the Raiders just to get out with a 2-point win in that game. So if I can get Texans, remember the key here, we're not only going up through 3, 7, but we're also going up through 8, which has become sort of a key number in itself in the NFL the last couple of years. I think it's as good of a spot to take both teams up to 8.5. You can do it at -110. It's a great bet. And I release it to my clients. So it's a 4% client play. Teaser, -110. Broncos from 2.5 to 8.5. Texans from 2.5 to 8.5. And you should be able to get down on that just about everywhere right now because that's what those are pretty much across the board.
So I was reading an article yesterday, Adam, talking about how the Wong teasers this year, and of course, for those of you that aren't familiar, Wong teaser is a teaser that's going to go through all the key numbers, 3, 4, 6, and 7. You talked about 8. Wong teaser doesn't go through 8. It goes through 3, 4, 6, and 7. But mathematically, you're talking about taking the bigger favorites from 7.5, 8.5 down below less than a field goal. and the shorter underdogs 1.5, 2.5 back over a touchdown. And that is your long-term positive expectation teaser wagers. This year, those Wong teasers have not just underperformed, they've way underperformed.
Yeah.
Less than 60%. And obviously to make a profit with those, you did a whole lot better than 60%. Do you attribute that to anything? Is that just randomness? And does that worry you at all, taking your classic Wong teasers here with a couple of teams that if they lose by 2 scores, that teaser ain't going to cash?
So one, Teddy, it doesn't worry me in the least bit because I have yet to bet a teaser this year. So I could care less how they've done to this point. Just doesn't matter to me. I understand what you're saying, though. They haven't been as good, and I do attribute that. I think the books have become sharper to this. I think they're willing to bait players into playing them more. Now, listen, as far as I'm concerned, you're never going to see me tease down a favorite because that's essentially just a 2-team money line parlay, which I want no part of. I'm only interested in teasing teams up through the key numbers, which I'm able to do here. And in this case, Teddy, the timing just works out for me because the Broncos game is early. I'll have time to sort of figure out what I want to do with the Texans, which I want to make clear. The Texans is the play I really like the most here. I'm just willing to, I like the Broncos enough where I'm willing to take action on them, knowing I'm getting 8.5, which is a good number in that situation. But yeah, Teddy, it just in general, I've really gotten away from the teasers maybe within the last 3 years or so, maybe 3 or 4 years, because I see more books offering -120. And I really do think they're booking some of these games to attract teaser action where they think it could be a bigger blowout. But I don't think they're doing that in either of these games, Teddy, because typically you start to see them move off of that 2.5 and whatnot. And I just don't think they're probably getting hammered on Broncos and Texans money since it's kind of a contrarian look on both games. I think you're going to get more people willing to bet the Jaguars and the Titans here. So for this game, this is why I said it's like it might be my only teaser play of this year, win or lose, Teddy. I just love how it sets up. I love that I'll be able to come back and react to the Texans. It's just the perfect setup for me. So 4% play Broncos to Texans, 6-point teaser, bring them both up to 8.5.
I got a second quick follow here, Adam, because you said something interesting there that I want to understand because I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. You said that the books, that these teasers are trap lines. Like, how is I don't understand your thought process there, because all a teaser is just 6-point move off where the markets say the number should be. How do you set a trap on a teaser? I don't understand it.
I don't think it's a trap. I probably misspoke there, Teddy. I don't think it's a trap. I just think that they're getting more teaser money than they used to. So if they're sitting at 2.5 and you can get a lot of 2.5, like people are rolling in on game day. Like usually if you don't bet, like a lot of times, if you don't bet the teasers early in the week, the number's gone. But I think you're seeing a lot of people roll in just kind of square action, and they know, like it's become so much more well known that that's how you're supposed to bet teasers, that I think sometimes it's not really a trap. It's just I think the books are willing to take certain positions and say, okay, we'll be okay with this at 8.5, and we'll just leave it here to attract some of that money. And again, that's just my opinion. It's certainly not fact, and I'm sure you could probably get a far better answer from from someone behind the counter. But that's just what it seems like to me on this side, trying to evaluate the betting market.
Adam Trigger, man, outstanding stuff today. Love your TikToks. Is that your backyard you filmed that last TikTok in? Because that is one sick-looking backyard.
Yeah, it is for now. So my fiance and I just moved to the Syracuse area. So we are just staying with her parents while we look for a house out here. And as you know, house shopping is it's probably not the best time to do it. So we are still in the process of looking. And so for now, that is my yard. Yes.
I suggest renting, but that's a story for another day.
So that's probably what we're doing, Prez. We're probably going to rent for a year. We're actually looking at, again, blew off all sorts of responsibilities last week, and we were supposed to look at apartments, and we're like, now let's go to Clemson, Syracuse.
As you should. Adam Trigger, everyone. Guys, stay with us. We got Teddy's big game breakdown. Kelly Stewart coming on. And of course, if we get to 100 likes, you will have the presidential address, which is 7-1 this week. Dan, cue it up.
Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some Thursday night college football action. FS1 late night West Coast battle. Utah -7. Looking at 57 at the total. Look at the WagerTalk live odds screen at Washington State on the Palouse. And Prez asked me yesterday, how much is series history? How much is this year? Well, this is in a situation where the series history certainly points towards Utah. Last year, 24-13. The year before, 45-28. The year before, 38-13. It's been one-sided, very one-sided. 3 double-digit wins for the Utes the last 3 meetings. That being said, it hasn't always been that way. Wazoo won 4 straight prior to Utah's current 3-game winning streak. So it's not one of these series where everything's been dominant forever. Both teams are coming off buys, and very disparate buys. Wazoo before the bye wasn't pretty. They lost 30-14 at USC. And then a really bad loss, 24-10 at Oregon State. When we look at the other side of the equation, Utah going into the bye off a wild 1.43-42 wild win, rallying from behind to beat the USC. So one team went into the bye on a down note, one team went into the bye on the up note. And in general, coming out of the bye, you expect the team that was on a down note to play a little bit better. Receiver Donovan Ollie for Washington State. I feel like the bye week was very needed for us. We needed to regroup, come back together, and get it going. Linebacker Diane Henley. We all have to be better than we were. We know that. We have to shake off that loss to Oregon State. We're going to make sure we don't dwell on that loss and come back harder this week. Easy enough to say. There's a fundamental matchup problem here for Washington State. Now, look, Utah has had struggles defensively against some of the elite offenses they faced. Washington State's not an elite offense this season. They can't run the football, and they can't protect their quarterback. The quarterback Ward has been sacked 26 times already this season. The offensive line has not played well. One thing Utah has done extremely well is pressure opposing passers. Look, we saw Washington State take Oregon right to the wire here in the Palouse. Only time all year they've given up more than 30. I think give up more than 30 again tonight. Utah, road chalk for a reason. Give me the Utes -7 in Whittingham. We trust, especially in Whittingham off a bye. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. Kelly Stewart joining us. Kel, how are you?
Hey, Prez. Life is good. Happy Thursday. Excited. I'm going to the Bucks game tonight with Ariel Epstein.
Nice.
So ready to get out of here. Got lots of work to do before we hit the road, but it should be a really fun time.
Yeah, no doubt. You betting the game?
That's an interesting one. Ariel and I were just talking about it. I teased the Bucks earlier in the week. Yesterday, we were doing bet on it, and poof, that opportunity was gone. I said, Marco, not so fast, my friend. You're going to have to give me a new teaser leg because the WagerTalk odds screen says otherwise. He said, fine, we're going to do it this way. I'll take the Saints instead. So now I woke up this morning and I can tease the Ravens with a different team. I teased them with the Broncos, which is absolutely disgusting to even fathom, but I did. And so I have basically over a touchdown with both teams tonight. I might find a couple prop bets from the prop queen herself and just give me something to cheer for, but I really don't have a big opinion in this game. This is a tough spot with a Ravens team that never wants to come out in the second half. This is a Bucs team that everybody is just completely written off. Tom Brady's in shambles. This defense isn't as good. Can Todd Bowles be a head coach? I mean, living south of Tampa these days, I hear all of the stuff coming out of the Bucs organization. I don't think it's as bad as it may seem. This could be a very good buy low spot on the Buccaneers, but I'm very happy catching over a touchdown with this team at home.
Kelly Stewart joining us, everyone. Kel, let's get into some college football. We got Kentucky going into Tennessee. Tennessee finds themselves minus 12. The total in this game, a high 62. What do you suggest we do?
I was going to give out this as my best bet on it, but Marco beat me to it in the Slack channel. And of course he did. You know why? Because this is such a classic look-ahead spot here for the Vols. Who do they play next week? That's right, the Georgia Bulldogs. This is a Wildcats team, Prez, I've been on 4 times over the past 2 seasons, and of course, only as underdogs. They've covered every single one of those for me and won 2 out of 4 outright. I don't know if I'm ready to call for the outright win here in Neyland Stadium. Tennessee has a high-powered offense, and we know that. But what the Wildcats do best is they control the time of possession, and they have a solid defense. I think Will Levis is a really great, serviceable quarterback, and he's going to keep them in this game. Maybe a little luck goes our way because I need some of that these days, and Kentucky can win this one outright.
So Tennessee's offense basically hasn't been stopped by anybody all year. When you think about how this game's going to play out, are you thinking that it's going to be Kentucky trading points with Tennessee and we might look at the over, or are we looking at, hey, we trust Kentucky's defense and maybe we look at the under? Talk to me about the total in this one, because in my mind, how you think it's going to play out, whether it's, Kentucky going to trade points or Kentucky's going to stop them, has a huge influence on how you want to bet the game.
You're absolutely right, Teddy. And do I think Kentucky can trade points with Tennessee? Absolutely not. That's actually how we saw Alabama lose this game just a couple of short weeks ago against the Vols. And this Wildcats team is the second best defense in the SEC, and that is exactly how I see Mark Stoops handling this one. They're going to have to come out and punch Tennessee in the mouth early, because this Tennessee team we know can play catch-up. This defense is going to have to come in, play tough, and get turnovers. That is going to be the difference maker here between who wins the game. But at this point in time, we're looking at 12.5 points on the WagerTalk odds screen. I'm going, what am I missing here? I understand Tennessee has been really, really great. But who did they get to play last week? Tennessee Martin. They go up and down the field against a crappy team. I think they're really looking ahead here to the Georgia Bulldogs.
So I just want to ask you real quick, because, Kentucky had a bye and Tennessee had a bye. They just had an opponent on the field in Tennessee Martin. I don't know that mentally it's particularly different for either of those two teams. But you said, can Kentucky trade points with Tennessee? Last year was 45-42, a wild shootout between these two teams, and Kentucky gained more than 600 yards of offense in that ball game. Could they do that again?
Yeah, the Vols rank 103rd in defense, Teddy. They're giving up over 420 yards per game. Now, that might not be the way I see this one playing out, but yes, this Vols defense is absolutely their Achilles heel here. And if somehow Levis can play almost a perfect game, and I say that because the last time I bet on this Kentucky team was in Oxford, and there was a couple of turnovers that didn't go our way, and that was the difference maker. If, again, Levis can play a perfect game against this defense, I absolutely think that they could win. And when I say shootout, I think college football anymore is like a shootout's like 70s, 80s, and yes, this total is lined fairly high, but I see this more and more like being a 34-31 type final, which in theory is still a shootout in football. I just think it's not as traditional as a shootout as we see, like, Pac-12 after dark shootout style.
Kelly Stewart. Kelly, TCU playing West Virginia -7.5. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I got to take the 7 and the hook here.
Like,
everybody knows.
what?
Everybody knows.
Yeah,
everybody knows. I'm always taking the dog. If I'm giving it out.
You know what, Kelly? 1 second. Do you ever bet a favorite?
Of course I do. Of course I bet favorites. I think the last favorite that I took would have been Utah -3.5. That
98 game between Arizona and San Fran. I think it was -1.5.
I took a favorite this week in the NFL. I laid 9 with the Cowboys. I wanted to vomit, but I did it. That being said, yeah, Prez, I do take dogs, but you have to remember what I'm looking for each week, right? And those are those outright underdog winners. That's what I'm addicted to. Teddy and I talked about this when I first started at WagerTalk, and he said, "Kid, what's your handicapping style? What are we doing here?" And I said,
Teddy, he called you kid?
Oh, yeah, I probably was a kid then. I mean, we're talking 2016. It's a while ago.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You were a kid in 2016. Sure.
Close enough. That being said, Prez is over here throwing darts because I deserve it. I give Prez a lot of hell. Unfortunately, he didn't see my Canadian tweet the other day. That was a good one. But yes, I do bet.
I'm sure it was
favorites.
really educated and informative.
Somebody asked about my favorite Canadians, and I brought up a guy that I think is one of my favorite Canadians.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's stay focused.
And they said, what about Carmine and Prez? I love Carmine.
We all love Carmine.
Oh, geez. But Teddy asked me, and the reason why I like dogs is because I'm addicted to the plus money. I'll be honest with you. I could go 50-50 and 2 on the season, but if I hit, 21 outright dogs out of the 50, guess what? We're going on vacation for a long time. Now, I know that was last year, and that was a little bit of an anomaly, but even if I hit 15 of them, even if I hit 10 of them, that extra little edge on that plus 280 or that plus 320 is going to really keep me afloat and give me another opportunity to fulfill my degenerate style, and that is to live to bet another day.
Okay, so TCU, West Virginia, and guys, are we seriously not going to get to 100 likes? I'm on a 7-1 presidential address run. You actually don't want my picks today? Okay. Kelly, West Virginia, TCU.
I don't even know why I come on the show if we're not even getting 100 likes. I'll just go do like a Thursday night edition of Bet on it or something.
Right?
Listen, this is not a TCU bash, okay? Now, while K-State was up on TCU 28-10 last weekend, I'm not going to disregard this team's successes, but they've definitely had some luck on their side. Now, they have played 4 straight ranked opponents. Yes, Oklahoma was ranked when they beat them. Yes, KU was ranked when they beat them in Lawrence. Oklahoma State, they came back in the second half, beat them in overtime, got a win over K-State last week. And credit to Marco D'Angelo. I liked West Virginia last week. I was looking at the team and he said, Kelly, pay attention to these home road splits. This team is vastly different in Morgantown, and he's absolutely correct. This is a Mountaineers team that Neil Brown has done okay with. I think JT Daniels, while he wasn't the SEC caliber quarterback he needed to be, he does well for this West Virginia team. And when he doesn't turn the ball over, that usually equates to good things for the Mountaineers. They've cashed 6 straight against the Horned Frogs. I think they make it 7. 7 in the hook is just a little too many points for a TCU team that I do believe is rather fraudulent.
Theodore?
So here's my question. All right. Neil Brown is clearly on the hot seat for West Virginia.
Yes, he is.
They're coming off and I understand it was on the road, but that loss to Texas Tech last week is one of those losses that you just wonder, is that the nail in the coffin for a team that has underachieved in recent years, that has underachieved so far this season? You worry about their attitude. I know they play much better at home than they have on the road, but does this team have the gumption to take a punch and fight adversity tonight? Or if they take a punch, are they just going to fold like a
I think that Baylor game really sold me on this West Virginia team. Granted, their starting quarterback did get knocked out, but this is a Mountaineers team that can go toe-to-toe offensively with other high-powered offenses. we know their defense is their liability here. And that's where things can spiral out of control. And we thought that's what we were going to see against the Baylor team. But this team fought tooth and nail and got the home win. Now, I don't know if TCU can do that. I don't know if TCU has that fight in a tough environment. If you guys have never been to Morgantown, I highly recommend it. It is an awesome place to watch a football game. And I would agree with you here, Teddy. Neil Brown is on the hot seat, but I do think that a win here could really cool it off. I personally, as somebody who follows the Big 12 more than any other conference, think that that West Virginia is doing exactly what we thought they were going to do. We thought they were going to be a middle-of-the-road Big 12 team. And so maybe if the athletic director in West Virginia thinks otherwise and they decided to fire Neil Brown, but I don't think he's done a bad job given what he's dealt with as far as adversity there in Morgantown. But we'll see. I think 7.5 points is far too many for a Horned Frogs team that has way overachieved this season.
Kelly, awesome stuff, man. We love having you on. Every Thursday, you'll be joining us. We know you do bet on it. You left the NFL presidential address to do that show. The NFL presidential address has just never been the same.
It just hasn't? You just didn't like me sitting there in silence, batting my eyes, waiting for you to finish talking for 4 minutes straight?
That was when you were a kid. Remember back in 2016 when you were a kid? It's so true, though, Kelly. That's literally how the NFL presidential address went back like 6 years ago. But, it and you and me have come a long, long way. What do you got to promote?
I love it. Let's see what I got left. So I'm going to be doing some college football videos with Dave Koken and Adam Trigger right after this. Just did every game on the board with Drew Martin Bet. So that's over on the WagerTalk YouTube channel and on Twitter if you guys want to rewatch that. Then I've got Money Shots with Megan. And then I'm headed to Tampa with Ariel Epstein. Excited to go hang out there. Going to meet some former proxy customers of ours and maybe have a couple cervezas and try to behave myself.
Excellent. Good luck with that. Yeah.
So you're going to take the under cervezas, or you're going to take the yes/no prop on if I behave myself?
Both.
I'm taking the under on how much you behave yourself. Yeah.
Kelly, you're in the Westgate with me, Jay Money, Marco, Steve Merrill, and obviously yourself, the five of us. We each give out one pick each week. We're in the top 10. We did make the money after week 6. We had a bad week 7. We went 1-4. But you know what, Kelly? It's not a big deal because we're right there still. Like, I think we're 1.5 games out of top position. What's your NFL play going to be this week?
You're gonna hate me, and I hate myself for this. I'm taking the Packers plus 11, Prez. I have to do it. I look at this game,
I don't hate
and we're
you.
talking about buy low spots with the Bucks. Can it get any worse for Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team?
Yes.
Everybody's ready to give the Bills the Lombardi Trophy, coming off a bye week. Yes,
Kel, Aaron Rodgers came out in a press conference and literally said, I want to go to Buffalo and get completely annihilated. Okay, that's a paraphrase, but he basically told the world that his pride and his hatred towards the Green Bay management is more important than winning games. All he wants to do is lose and shove it up Green Bay management's tuchus. So, although I will now be cheering for Green Bay because of you, I think it can get worse.
Do you think, here's my, I might be able to get worse, but here's my real question. Do you really think they're not above benching Aaron Rodgers? I mean, if it's really that bad, why isn't he benched?
I would love to see that. I used to be the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan. Now he's just a whiny dick. But anyway, I would love to see him.
He's always been a whiny dick. You just haven't been paying attention.
He's not even aging well, man. He looks haggard. His hair's ridiculous. Anyway, enough. Kelly Stewart, everybody. Dan, presidential address. Okay, everybody, it's Thursday. It's the presidential address. You can find it at the end of the Wager Talk Today show. If you didn't watch Wager Talk Today on our YouTube channel, what are you doing? Kelly, Stewart, Adam Trigger, Tony Mejia, Teddy's Big Game Breakdown. It was a sensational show. Just to let everyone know, I am 7-1 in these picks. I got 3 picks for you guys today, all in the NHL. It's a big card. I am getting over a cold. Before we get into that, guys, I got to tell you, man, I am in must-play mode, like legitimate must-play mode. I've won 12 of my last 17 bets across the board. I'm on a 22-12 NFL run. I've started the NHL season 10-4. I've started the NBA season 3-2. I am on a 7-3 NFL prop run. And tonight for my clients, I have 1 NFL bet on the game, 2 NFL prop bets on the game. I have 2 NBA plays and 1 NHL play, all 6 of them. It's $29 at WagerTalk, and you can use the promo code BOO31. Take advantage. In all seriousness, these must-play modes where I'm winning day after day after day after day, they don't come around that often. And I'm in the middle of it right now. Anyway, 3 plays for tonight. Love you guys. We're going with the Leafs in regulation. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they're in San Jose tonight. We like the Leafs in regulation. I also like Winnipeg under the total of 6. That's Winnipeg under the total of 6. And one of our listeners, Terry, said, Prez, you got a dog bet for us that's going to win? And I actually do. Total coincidence, Terry. I did not come up with this when you asked. I had it all along. And that is the Detroit Red Wings at plus 210. They're going into Boston tonight. Detroit plus 210. That's it for the show. Teddy, my brother, I'm having a veal sandwich from California's, and I'm having it now. Take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games, and good luck.
Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.